Hi everyone, Kieran Brown here, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be comparing 6 of the common different types of low carbohydrate diets. And to be honest, I was sort of just scratching my own itch. I was asking myself the question, what actually is the difference between keto and paleo and Atkins? And as I was like sort of researching it, I was like, why not make a presentation and put it into a video? So yeah, the 6 different diets I'm going to go through are on the screen. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'll start with the paleo diet first. It's short for Paleolithic, which is like a period of time, like a long time ago. I'm not sure exactly when. But it's basically a pre-agriculture diet. So humans first started to use agriculture around 12,000 years ago, and like our species, like Homo sapiens, evolved roughly 200,000 years ago. So that's only about 5% of our species existence have we had agriculture, and for 95% of the time we were eating like a paleo diet basically. So that's where it kind of came from originally. And a list of the foods you can have there is on the left. And things you can't have on this diet are grains, legumes, sugar, seed oils, salt, dairy, which might be surprising, and artificial sweeteners. So I'm going to go through each one by one, and then I've made a neat little table so that you can visualize all the differences on one page. And yes, it's helped me to remember the different types before. So next we have the Atkins diet, and from my research, it's less than 20 grams of carbohydrates per day, which equates to roughly 80 calories, because there's 4 calories per 1 gram of carbohydrate. So yeah, you start with this amount, which is super low, and then you gradually increase it. And one thing that's omitted from the Atkins is high carbohydrate fruit. And I'll explain a bit later the differences between which fruits are high carb and low carb, and also which vegetables are starchy and non-starchy, because that's a common difference as well. So keto diet, or ketogenic diet, is 5 to 10% of calories from carbs. So a bit more than the Atkins. I'm not sure if the Atkins actually, it might build up to this sort of level, but initially to start, with the Atkins, you start much lower than this. So for an average male, that's around 100 to 300 calories per day from carbs, which again isn't a lot. So that's around 25 to 75 grams of carbs. And on keto, it's recommended to avoid starchy veg, but non-starchy veg is allowed. And I'll go through which vegetables fall into which category later. And again, same as the Atkins, no high carb fruit. So next is the slow carb diet, and I believe this was popularized by Tim Ferriss in his book 4 Hour Body, which should be somewhere behind this computer screen. And this is basically no carbs that are or can be white. For example, like bread, pasta, rice, spaghetti, potatoes, that kind of thing. And instead you'd replace it with oats, quinoa, beans, peas, lentils, almonds, macadamia nuts. I'm sure there are some more as well. And when I read the 4 Hour Body, I actually implemented one of the meals which were suggested, and it was basically a omelette with black beans and spinach. Tim Ferriss said that was sort of his go-to meal, and I had that almost every day for breakfast for quite a long time, like months and months, maybe even a year. So the results, there are a lot of great results from the diet. published in the book. So if you want to look more into that, then look up Tim Ferriss. Next is the carnivore diet, and this one's pretty straightforward. It's animal products only, so you can think of it as the opposite of a vegan diet. Vegan diet is plants only. Carnivore is animal products only, and you can see there like the carnivore food pyramid. So yeah, you want ideally most of your food coming from ruminant meats, and then the next tier is like non-ruminant meats, and I'll explain the difference a bit more. I'll do it now actually. So ruminant meats are from ruminant animals, and they basically digest food differently. They have like more stomachs, and I think the word ruminant comes from Latin to like re-chew, something like that. So basically they chew and digest their food, and then they sort of almost like regurgitate it a little bit, but it's still like in their mouth, and then they almost like re-eat it, and it helps to get it like just breaks down the food a lot more. Whereas like a pig, chicken, duck, salmon, they don't do that. They're like us, we just eat it once and that's it. Other things you can have: egg, bone broth, fish, different seafoods, and so you can also have dairy as well. But it's good to not have too much, to basically limit it. And you can see at the bottom of that diagram are foods which you can't have. So next one is the lion diet. So this is ruminant meat and salt only, and there's a picture there of a deer. I tried to get a picture of what a ruminant animal's sort of like system looks like. Yeah, that's sort of all I can find, and I think there's like 2 stomachs on there, or like 2 areas where the food digests, something like that. If you're interested, better to look into it more yourself. So examples of ruminant meat include beef, lamb, moose, deer, goats, buffalo, bison, and elk. So these are like the gold standard of things that you can eat on a low carbohydrate diet. And also I'd add the fattier the better as well. You don't want to get meat with all the fat cut off, or like a 5% ultra lean beef mince, for example. It's better to get the higher fat stuff, because when you're low on carbohydrates, you use fat as fuel. So if you have low fat and low carbohydrate diet, then where you're getting your energy from. Protein isn't a great source of energy. It's great for other things, but you sort of need one or the other. And things that are excluded on the lion diet is chicken, pork, fish, eggs, and dairy. And yeah, I did the lion diet 30 days. I was feeling great and definitely going to carry it on. But I think I may eventually go more carnivore and add some eggs. To be fair, actually, that's kind of a lie, because I've been cooking my meat in butter for that period of time. So I guess it's carnivore. I've been struggling to find some beef tallow to cook in. It's called beef dripping here. Finally got hold of some, so I'll start using that. So I'll just make my face a bit smaller so that you can see. All right, there we go. So I've put everything here onto a table so that you can visualize all the differences here at once. And if I do have anything wrong, then please do comment. I was just researching this myself for the first time and using ChatGPT as well. So yeah, if anything is wrong, do let me know. So looking at this, the least restrictive low carb diet is actually the Atkins diet by the looks of it, because the only thing you can't have there is high carb fruit, but you do start with very low carbohydrates anyway. And I've got the asterisks there because there are, I believe, different stages of the Atkins diet. I haven't looked into it too much, but that was just from doing some basic research. And you'll notice an asterisk next to the nuts as well. And that's because on some of the diets, some nuts are allowed and some aren't. So I've marked it green if there are some kind of nuts that are allowed. And if all nuts aren't allowed, then I've marked it red. Oh, and I forgot to mention, should have put this slide before really, but the different kinds of fruits. So you can see on the table here, we've got low carb fruit and high carb fruit. So low carb fruits include avocados, raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, and higher carbs is like kiwis, plums, oranges, apples, bananas as well. To be honest, I thought blueberries was the low carb. Not sure about that. And then, yeah, starchy and non-starchy vegetables. So starchy things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, butternut squash, peas, and non-starchy like peppers or capsicums, depending on where you're from, cauliflower, carrots, broccoli, spinach, those kinds of things. So yeah, some allow all vegetables, some allow none, and some just allow non-starchy vegetables. So here's a quick summary of the different diets. So Paleo doesn't allow dairy, Atkins doesn't allow high carb fruits, keto doesn't allow high carb fruits or starchy veg, slow carb does not allow fruit, starchy veg or dairy, carnivore doesn't allow fruit, veg, nuts, anything from plants, and the lion diet is ruminant meat only. So I hope you found that interesting. I hope you learned something. I certainly did whilst looking up the video. Let me know if you're on any of these diets. I'll be interested to see how it's gone in the past or how it's going now. So if you want any help with your body transformation, I do one-to-one coaching. So it's the first link in the description. Apart from that, that's everything for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.